Good evening, everybody. How are you? Okay? That's great. Okay, so maybe we can start tonight's session with reciting Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's name mantra and Compassionate Buddha Teresa's name mantra. Of course, dedicating to numberless sentient beings, but particularly dedicating to our beloved pets. Pets. Your cats and dogs and donkeys and donkey. Anybody know donkey? Yes. Maybe in the Himalayas.
Chickens.
Chickens. Yes.
Guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs. Just recently in Tasmania, I saw pig turkey. I hope it's not ready for other intention. So plenty of turkeys like that. Anyway, yeah. Yes. So while we recite the mantra, then try to generate positive motivation. That's generate altruistic motivation. What I'm teaching Langri, I think most of you have already studied, Buddha Dharma, a number of teachings. But in short, just simply expressing from depth of your heart that may your time here, every single moment of your time here, be absolute, complete cause for numberless sentient beings, temporary happiness, as well as ultimate happiness or enlightenment. So that is very, very important. Whether one's actions or the deeds, for now, the session, whether this session of our being here become virtue or not, beneficial or not, whether it's Dharma practice or not, is very much defined by the motivation. So, like that. So while reciting the Compassionate Buddha's name mantra, try to express as sincere as possible the compassion from depth of one's heart to all the numberless sentient beings, in particularly those sentient beings who are in trouble, who are in danger, who are suffering, in particularly the suffering, like many animals, even humans, who are in the war zone, in the famine, suffering of hunger, suffering of diseases, whatever they may be, then just simply expressing through the mind of compassion and through the power of the mantra, through the blessing of cherishing the compassionate Buddha, may they get liberated without delay, even a moment. If you make it very urgent like that, so the dedication becomes more effective. Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Thank you. Yeah, so the subject, how to benefit our pets. Yes. So, in fact, from the perspective of karma, which is one of key teaching of Buddha Dharma, and as well as from the perspective of Mahayanic Dharma, which is the great compassion or the altruism. Our pets are one of the most important objects where we can offer benefit as well as we can actualize the benefit of enlightenment in relation to our pets. There are great practices that can perform to actualize mutual benefits up to everlasting happiness or enlightenment. From the karmic point of view, why one particular animal, come into your life, that shows that comparing with the rest of the other sentient beings, that particular animal has close karmic connection from the past lifetime. So that particular pet, it just doesn't come encounter in your life without any causes and condition. So the causes has to trace back, in the past lifetimes. So from that point of view, so from the karmic point of view, because of having special close karmic connection, so whenever you perform any meritorious deeds or beneficial deeds in relation to that pet, the pet will receive most effective way comparing to your benefiting other animals, other animals. So tonight we will try to stick with animals, okay? All sentient beings coming in. So all sentient beings included. Pets, usually within animals, there can be pets other than animals. Fishes, and is the animal. Rock. Oh, really? Rock, okay. Okay. So for the rock, I think nothing but to benefit the rock can benefit us. Okay. So okay, we stick with the animal. Yes. So yeah, from the karmic point of view, then the interdependent connection is stronger than any other animal in your that very lifetime when you come in encounter with that animal. So so therefore, if you perform any negativities in relation to that animal, also is greater than performing negativities with any other animal. If you perform virtues to that animal, is greater compared to any other animals because of the karma. Yeah. So then, on the basis of that karma, then if you benefit through altruism, comparing with the rest of the other animal, that your actions of altruistic deeds in relation to that animal can cause most effectively, most efficiently actualizing of liberation or enlightenment in that animal or to that animal. There's no doubt how much benefit yourself receive in relation to cultivating altruism to your pet, but because of the karma and because of the power of the virtue that you perform, dedicated to that animal, that your pet, it becomes very forceful condition the pets to actualize liberation or enlightenment. So therefore, we as a Dharma practitioner or someone as a good person who's taking care of one pet has a great responsibility. The responsibility is not just give shelter. That is very, very superficial. Responsibility just to feed food. That is very superficial. And just to keep the animal because it makes you happy. Very superficial. So someone that who in particularly having the understanding of Dharma, then the benefit of relationship that one can cause is to bring liberation in your pet. Your concern, your relationship has to be beyond this lifetime's benefit, beyond this lifetime's comfort. Food and shelter and medicine, like that. Then, if someone who's cultivating Mahayanic Dharma, then the whole reasons the pets will come in your life is, for your purpose, is to cause your paths to actualize enlightenment. You see, so so there's three different, there's three different actions that one can relate, or virtuous deeds one can relate to benefit our animal. One is to do with our thought, one is to do with our verbal speech, and to do with our physical actions, physical doings. So in relation to our thought, any virtue we perform, if we perform in the name of your path, like minimum 50% of the benefit, if not 70%, or if not more, minimum, without the path engaging by the path side at all, just simply, your motivation for that virtue is dedicating to the benefit of your path. The path can get the benefit, minimum 50% like that. So, if one perform altruistic virtue, like just now, the chanting, the very powerful Buddha's name mantra chanting, in bodhicitta motivation, in the name of your path, you chant that practice, you are actualizing abundance of causes and condition for your paths to actualize full enlightenment. You see, you contribute the benefit of enlightenment to your path. That's how it works. Then, every time we perform meritorious deeds, beneficial deeds, at the end dedicating all those merits, all those virtues, to your path. In particularly, if you dedicate in bodhicitta, altruism, you are directly causing, you are directly contributing the conditions for your path's Buddha nature to fully awaken. Buddha nature, your path's Buddha nature to fully awaken in the state of full enlightenment, like that. Then, in the name of, we can benefit our path. In the name of one's path, one can do retreat. One can go into retreat. In particularly, knowing the rebirth of the path as an animal, not having the freedoms and endowments to practice Dharma. At the same time, understanding the preciousness of the Dharma. At the same time, having the urgency, through the understanding of the relative truth of the path, which is being in the animal realm, which not only experiencing the pervasive samsaric suffering, but in particularly because of being animal, there is specific suffering as suffering of dullness, suffering of mute, suffering of ignorant. Six realm beings has a different individual suffering, specific suffering. Animals, specific suffering is suffering of dullness, suffering of mute, suffering of ignorant. And even though we see the pets are like very quiet or very happy, very comfortable, but the mute and the dumb, sorry to say so harsh, but like that, then the ignorant, is, there's intense darkness in their life. Intense darkness in their life, and this is by product of their past karma, and just being born as an animal. So animal has that suffering. So knowing the relative truth of their samsara, then with the urgency of requirement of abundance of virtue, in order to elevate all those sufferings in your path and to actualize perfect liberation of enlightenment. For that reason, then you will recite the mantras, or go into retreat, or go into vegetarian practices, go take a precept, like 8 minor precept, or take the 5 lay vows, like at least one lay vows, vow of no killing in the name of your pet. Take the vow of no killing, no killing. Then take so all the precepts you can take in the name of your pet. In particularly the 1 day precepts, which is not a kind of huge commitment. Just 1 day precept of from the Mahayanic practice called the 8 minor precept. Many of you have done Nyungne practices. Nyungne practice, one of the theme of the Nyungne practice is engaging into 8 minor precepts. And when you are in that precepts, you are completely refrained from causing harm to any sentient being. And if you're able to do that in the name of your pet, your pet becomes the main cause to actualize abundance of virtue, that which in return your pet accumulate abundance of merit to actualize liberation, like that. So so you see, just from the thought, just from the motivation and dedication alone, we can dedicate entire our practices for our pets. And as mentioned before, because of the karma, how effective it would be. How effective it would be, and while having this karmic connection, if we loses the opportunity of fully benefiting your pet, it will be a great loss. It will be a great loss, So those we understand Dharma, then I think this is something can be very, 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 very serious, very, very serious practice, I used to suggest if someone say that their cats are dead, their pets died, and kind of asking what would be most beneficial. So I usually recommend to commit yourself in the name of your pet to recite 1 million Om Mani Padme Hum. 1 million Om Mani. I do suggest this also if people pass away, your relatives pass away. I also suggest like that, but especially why I've been doing that. My late master has one small dog, one white small dog, came from Himalaya. The dog was born near the nearest village to the cave where he used to meditate. So my brother brought down very small offer to my late master, and eventually the dog passed away. And Geshe-la himself committed to do 1 million Om Mani Padme Hum retreat in the name of that dog. So that's my first inspiration. That and it was very serious retreat that he's doing. Then not only that, in the name of the pet, build stupa near his cave. There's one small stupa asked my auntie to construct in the name of that dog, and make tsaza. Even though the dog's body was buried, but still in the name of the dog, make a like mitupa, purifying karma. There's one deity called Mitupa, which is Buddha's generation, past, present, future Buddha's essence of purification. Mitupa images was made. I don't know how many numbers, but it's not so big stupa, around this much. So fill the entire stupa with the Mitupa Tsatsa in the name of the dog. And Geshe-la himself engaged into 1 million recitation of the mantra, like that, you see. So I think, so this is, we can dedicate like that. So basically, entire virtue we can dedicate for our pets, and how meaningfully we are able to do that. Then in particular, if we're able to do that in artistic intention, always give your pet as a reason to create this virtue for the benefit of numberless sentient beings, like the infinite merit that you accumulate from that virtue, you equally, let your pet to participate, being a reason for this virtue, so that the pets can accumulate immense of virtue, so meaningful, in that sense, our pets, like a guru, like a merit field, exactly like the Buddha, who caused you to accumulate so much merit, which is the only way we can able to travel through the path and actualize enlightenment. Without merit, no question about Buddhahood. Even temporarily, samsaric happiness also cannot enjoy. You see, so there's amazing practices that we can do like that. So now, from the speech, then again there's abundance, abundance of practices we can do. So especially for animal, because they don't have capability of motivation like how we human being able to. So therefore, very much dependent. Their virtues are very much dependent on object, outer conditions. We humans, because we have this human intelligence, capability to cultivate within our mind, through motivation, through dedication. Then we take our body and our speech into the, cultivation of the path. But as for animal, the basic capability, the mental capability is not there. You see, so therefore, the accumulation of virtues, purification of karma, very much dependent on others, on external, others. Like whatever just now practice we did, very much dependent on us, for the path to accumulate merit, purify karma. So now in relation to speech, so in Buddha's time, when Buddha was alive, when he was traveling through the field, then there's about 500 swan. So there's 500 swan there, and Buddha sit down and set the motivation, altruistic motivation, and he start to give Dharma lesson, Dharma teaching. Just start to recite the paths and grounds, the teachings on the Dharma, and because of that, this 500 swan, when they pass away from this life, their next rebirth was born as a precious human rebirth, precious human rebirth, because of that condition, because of Buddha have recited the mantra, even though the swan don't have capability to understand, or not only that, there's no motivation to receive the Dharma, but just simply hearing by the power of the Buddha's motivation to benefit this swan. So they're born as a precious human rebirth. Then within that lifetime, all the 500 swan, which is now human being, become monk, become sangha. Some can be nun, some can be monk. So become sangha. So in short, become sangha. And within that lifetime, they actualize arhatship. So everything, of course, every sentient being equally has Buddha potential, Buddha nature. That I supposed to say at the beginning. I think I forgot. That's one thing that whenever we look at our paths, first thing, if we can able to look through the paths having Buddha nature in them, our perspective would be so different. There will be so much respect. There will be so much virtues. The connection from the very first seeing them, calling them, there will be so much respect. So anyway, so the seed that the Buddha nature that all sentient being has, also that such like those swan has, then the conditional causes of virtue, just simply the recitation of the Dharma, able to cause them to actualize arahantship. No more return to samsara, ever progress to the higher and higher path. Eventually will actualize full enlightenment. You see, so that's a fact story. Then there's another story. So you can recite the sutras like that. So in Lama Sopara, which is specific instruction to help the animals, to help the pets and animals, there's recommendations of reciting various mantras, in particularly 5 different mantras. You can just look into the APMD website, then you can get those mantras very easily. So like such as Medicine Buddha mantra, one of the most powerful mantra, Medicine Buddha mantra. If I think most people may know Medicine Buddha mantra and Compassionate Buddha Cherisi mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Even if you don't know the other mantras, some of the mantras are quite long and quite uncommon, in our day-to-day practices. So just knowing Medicine Buddha mantra, Senzam Tebe, Ngendru Dumese, Tusumnese, Sanje Megila, Vidoya Yorajan, Senzam Tebe. So just hearing once, this is the aspiration or the commitment made by Medicine Buddha. So you can see this teaching in his Medicine Buddha Sutra. So just by hearing the name Senzam Tebe, Ngendru Dumese, it will pacify the suffering of lower rhythm. So the pets, the animal, just to be able to hear that, since they are already in the lower rhythm, that is like kind of painkiller. In particularly to their ignorance, in particularly to their dumbness, to their mute and whatever you call it. Yes, cannot speak, cannot hear. What was it? Cannot speak. So the suffering of ignorant. The name they use, suffering of ignorant. So just by hearing the name, it heals. It heals the suffering of ignorant. You see. So whether the pets are very happy, healthy, or whether they are, sick or even dying, if you can able to recite Medicine Buddha mantra, that if you cause to recite the Medicine Buddha mantra to the pet, then that will condition to pacify the suffering, ease the suffering, in particular the suffering of ignorance. Then this mantra, just by hearing once, the animal next rebirth won't born into the 3 lower rhythms, like animal rhythm, Holy Ghost rhythm, hell rhythm, just by hearing once like that. Then if the animal don't have the hearing capability, then you recite, you blow onto the animal, you blow, and passes, blow from the crown, then the whole body, the whole body. If not, just quite forcefully, like that, or some on the crown like that. You recite, even just one has so much benefit, then if you can recite more, there will be even greater benefits, So this is how we can help our pets, even when they are very healthy, like that. Then there are other mantras like Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, the 6th syllable each syllable is an antidote to each rhythm. So when you recite the 6th syllable, you are actualizing direct antidote to the animal rhythm, or the suffering of animal rhythm, or samsara of animal rhythm. So if you recite Om Mani Padme Hum to the pet, you are not only purifying the karma for them to reborn as animal again, you are also purifying the karma for them to not to reborn at all within the 6 realms, and to born in the Amitabha Pure Land. When they're born in the Amitabha Pure Land, then from there, only conducive conditions to accumulate virtue, then ever progress in the path and actualize enlightenment. So this is how we can benefit to our path like that. Then you can recite the stainless beam, stainless beam mantra, and Om Pema Onisha Pimane Hompe. There's one. So this mantra, Om Pema Onisha Pimane Hompe. So you can get this mantra from the website. You can just you can do that. So this mantra you can also recite, but you can also place the mantra writing on top of the doors. Not only to the human will surely benefit, but also to the pet. Wherever pets go in and out, so on top, if you can place the mantra, so each time you cross in and out, it helps to purify your karma, so like that. Then there's another mantra, Om Hane Pashabara Soha. Then Maitreya Buddha's mantra. So Maitreya Buddha's mantra, when you recite to the animal, again, if they can hear, recite it. If they cannot, you recite, then blow, blow to them. It creates the causes of actualizing, pure land. So usually, right after the Maitreya Buddha's mantra, there's a verse that which teaching us the benefit of reciting that mantra, which is the aspiration of the Buddha Maitreya. So if you recite the Buddha Maitreya's mantra, there's 3 sections. The first one, the long one, then heart mantra, heart essence mantra. So there's 3. So good to recite all 3 together. So then Rinpoche also suggests to recite Guru Rinpoche mantra, Guru Pema Sambhava. So Guru Pema Sambhava, has the Buddha's capability, the essence in this particular enlightened being to dispel hindrances, especially spirits. So compared to human, especially animal, in particularly dogs, are very sensitive to spirits. They can see spirits. We don't see, but they get a lot of disturbances by spirits. So if you recite Guru Rinpoche's mantra, Om Ahom Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum, loudly, or you just play that mantra, even soft sound where you keep the pet. The spirits are always protect from the intrusion of spirits, the haunting from the spirits. So it's very helpful, the Guru Rinpoche, reciting Guru Rinpoche's mantra like that. So then there are many other mantras that so they are major. Then there's another mantra, Milarepa's mantra. So Rinpoche suggests to recite Milarepa's mantra. I'm not quite sure what is the main specific benefit. Specifically, each mantra got a specific benefit. So I don't know. I can't remember. So those are like 5 different mantras, but you can recite other mantras also, and sutras, like that. So, so you can chant, record, and maybe you can play all the time. And especially if you can do that with your own voice, with your with set motivation, it's because of you use your aggregates or your 3 doors, and particularly having a special karmic connection with the animal, it will be even more beneficial rather than just getting some others recordings. If you can do, that will be so beneficial for yourself and also to the animal. So otherwise, it would be wonderful to get a recording of those, high practitioners or good practitioners, who does accumulation of a lot of mantras, a lot of retreats, a lot of practices. So, because their motivations and the energy in the mantra that they recite, it has a strong power of transmission. The frequency that can transmit just even by hearing their voices, their voice or mantra like that. So you can also do that. Sometimes you can bring a recording and just ask, great realized master can you just recite a few mantras, for my pet, so you record. Then after that you multiply that, then you can play all the time, So you can also benefit like that. Like Geshe-la is one of great example that who take it so serious in this practice of blessing animals. Yes, there are many animal sanctuaries around the world. In particularly in Nepal, there's one very big land, and a lot of goats and I think chickens and whatever. There are many there, and also I think in India, and so Rinpoche has a great they have taken it serious and have a great concern and engage in deep practice in that. And so this is like not just for the pets, but your pets, but you can do to any animal that comes in your way, any animals, For practitioner like Geshe-la and many other gurus and many here too, whenever whenever you see animals, whenever you encounter like ants in your house or cockroach in your house, or on the road you see ants, and regard it as one of such a precious opportunity, for you to benefit them, and you just pause and you just help them, like that. I think sometime around 1985 onward, for about 6-7 years. So I get opportunity to clean Rinpoche's room, Lama Rinpoche's room in Nepal, in Kopan Monastery. So I used to take care of his room. So Lama Rinpoche usually travel around the world most of the time, and around November, for about 1 month, he goes back. And one week before he arrived, in his room, entire his room will be covered with ants. Usually there's no ants at all. So about 1 week before, and it's every year same thing. And Rinpoche's returning time is not also consistent. But the ants are like they have a clairvoyance. They will return to the house about 7 days before he arrives. And before 7 days, we try to make sure, put spray and to, of course, I don't know how harmful it is. So we just make sure there's no ants, and just thinking about Rinpoche, we forgot about the ant. So try to clean and make it as tidy as possible, but 1 week time, completely filled with ants, millions and millions of ants. And the floor is wood that has holes, and also the house structure is wood and some cement patches like that. But so how much you try to chase away, you won't able to. So when Rinpoche is there, then even more. And Rinpoche, he don't sleep, he don't lie down. So it's 24 hours every day, it's like that. So, but still we put one pillow at his, where he's sitting in the bed, Usually most of the lamas in the room, the sittings are not sofa, mostly it's like a bed, single bed like that. So that's their sitting, if you want to sleep, you also sleep there like that. So we put a pillow and we also put some blanket here in case you need to use. So the moment he arrives, then of course he will see the ants, and he will ask us to, instead of cleaning, ask us to go and kilos and kilos and kilos of flour, cooked roasted barley flour, asked to put much butter as possible, much sugar as possible, make it so yummy, So then he will put like that, take a lot, put under his pillow, put under the blanket, go around and put every single corner of the house. And of course, when we walk, we have to walk slowly, like that, the entire house. And if we stay for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, mostly it's around 3 weeks. By the 4th week we will leave like that. And whole throughout the time, it's really like an ants party. Then Rinpoche himself, of course, take a lot of time in between teachings, in between other activities. Will recite the mantras, those mantras that are saying, and also much more than that, maybe like sutras, like recite the dependent arising, the prayer. The composed by Lama Tsongkhapa in the remembrance of the kindness of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, or Tendel Topa, reciting the dependent arising prayer, and reciting Panchaparamita Sutras, reciting Medicine Buddha Sutras, and very loud, very loud like that. Oh, like that, shout like that, shout like that. So like everybody will hear equally like that, So then, after Rinpoche leave, he will ask us to make sure, to continue to feed the food. And within few days, there's maybe hundreds and thousands of white eggs under the pillow, everywhere like that. And he will last about 1 week, and after that, totally disappear whole throughout. It happened like that. So. Like his son Dharanama used to say, if you are a kind person, even animals like to hang around you. Even animals, want to be with you, hang around you. If you're a violent person, everybody will go away from you like that. So I think because of Rinpoche's great compassion and kindness, I think they just communicate that way, and it comes in that way like that. So then, so this is one example, And in Tibet also they have this. Whenever they find the ants' nest, then yes, they usually make this delicious samba flour, and usually they feed like that. So and in Himalayas and in Tibet, they do that. And let's say, and I think somewhere in Malaysia or Singapore, in someone's family, got a lot of ants, and they're having a hard time, and I think they consulted Rinpoche what to do, and instead of that one I think to do with termite, it's quite a scary one. Instead of asking to chase away, and ask to feed food, and ask to recite a lot of mantra, and eventually, they live. So this I think is a great way to not to harm them and help them, so like that. And there another story in relation to Geshe Lama Rinpoche, which is like almost every single day encounter insects, animals, and he will give full time for them. I think many of you witnessed that. Whenever he sees dogs, someone bringing pets, and he just dissolve into that, and recite the mantra and bless, like that. So there's another story in relation to, how much that you can benefit. Like you can also, do like Lama say, if you wish to, you can. So this is a story that when, I don't know, sometime 1995, 6, 7, one of those years. So we went to Rinpoche's hometown, Rinpoche's cave, Laudo. So when we are walking down after we visit there, and it's supposed to be just a one day journey, and he has a flight, tomorrow morning. We need to reach to the airport, Lukla airport. For normal people, it takes about half a day, but for we give some little more time, like we just have one whole day. But we took 3 days and 3 nights to reach to the airport because of there's so many ants, so many daytime, so many cows, then frogs, frogs. So each frog, the moment you see frog, So when we first come down, some of other monks, we are leading him. Then about maybe 1 or 2 minutes, he says, "No, stop. I want to lead." Then even though it's daytime, it's late up to around 4 or 5 o'clock maybe, but it's very high in the mountains, so mist and drizzling like that. So it's a big dark kind of, something like that. So he's stopping every now and then and giving teaching, giving motivational teaching, like set up bodhicitta, reciting refuge. Then after that, recite mantras, and each stop will take about half an hour to 1 hour, sometimes even more than that. And because there's one end, it's crossing the road, and just recite, doing that, giving teaching, reciting mantra to that end. Like that. So then after that, frogs, not stable, they will just jump here. So you will like try to stop from every frog. Om mani padme, 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 So then before we came down, before we started the journey, we were doing Nyumne practice about 1 week with the Himalayan Troma nuns. So for us, all of us, there's about 15 of us following Rinpoche, and all of us is completely exhausted. And after a few hours, whenever he start the teaching and blessing to the animal, all of us, we just try to find some like small juniper plant and try to rest there. just lie down, like that. So like that, it took 3 days and 3 nights just because of it's just helping, all those animals, and also anybody that he meets on the way, each small villages, people are just waiting for him to bless them, and he just give full time, making prayers, giving teaching, reciting mantras, So because just doing so, you can able to liberate them, So we can do the same thing to our pet, and also rest of the other animals, like that. So that's actually a long story, but better don't go there. Yeah. So yes. Then and in those animal sanctuaries, Rinpoche assign caregivers, and those caregivers' job is always recite the mantra to the animals and always bring the animals around the holy object, so like that. And I remember I haven't seen the chicken sanctuary because in South India near Sarah near Sarah Monastery, when they were planning for the Rinpoche's visioning for that place, so he was giving advice to the people who were to do the project. So asking to have a recording of the mantra, which Rinpoche would record the recording of mantra to play 24 hours throughout the years. Then on the ceiling, entire ceiling is completely covered with the powerful mantras like Olisha mantras, stainless bead mantras, like all those mantras completely placed. So where the chickens can go in and out and get purified, like that. Then a lot of holy objects where they can relate to go around like that, So this is something that we can do to our own pets, at home, around the garden, wherever we're keeping the pets, you can have a bit like all sitting completely filled with mantra and play powerful mantras. Even if you don't have time to do much, you can at least do that. So this is so something to the speech. And physically, then like the story of the Kimda Pelge, the around 80 years old man who get so disturbed by many family members and especially grandchildren at home. I think he must have a big family. So because of the children's noise and so he felt like he wanted to go to a very quiet, remote place, just to have peace of mind. So he thought of going to Shariputra's monastery, which must be, I think, quite nearby his house. So he went to, he thought to become monk and stay in Shariputra's monastery. So when he saw Shariputra is one of the two heart attendants of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. So he asked Shariputra, can I become monk here? Then Shariputra first says, you're too old. Then secondly, he says, you have no merit or no karma to become monk. So this old man, very depressed. So then he thought that just to quiet his mind is to end his life. So, he didn't understand the consequences of suiciding. So he thought of suicide. So he was about to jump on the cliff, and right then, Buddha appeared, and Buddha asked him, what's going on, and he just shared all his story, and in particularly his encounters with Shariputra. So then Buddha told him that Shariputra is not just an arhat, he had not achieved the omniscience. So therefore, only omniscient one, only enlightened one can see the entirety of the subtle karma of sentient being. So arhat has a great clairvoyance, but won't able to see through the entirety of the karma. So therefore, he didn't see that you have a karma to become monk. In fact, you do have karma to become monk. Not only that, you have karma to actualize arhatship within this very lifetime, to realize eminence directly, like that. So then he was shocked, Kimda Pelge was shocked to hear that, and he asked Buddha, can you explain to me in detail, how possible I have karma? In this life I never practiced, I never really practiced. I was like totally busy with samsaric body life. So Buddha said, no, in your past lifetime, one of your rebirth was a fly, and you happened to landed in the area where they got one stupa. And that day when you landed there, heavy rain, and that formed water around the stupa. And there's one dry cow dung is floating on the water. And there's a strong wind that pushing the cow dung. And you are so attached to the smell of cow dung, you landed on the cow dung. So wind pushes the cow dung. And happen to go around one time. That is the meritorious karma for you to become monk and also to actualize arhatship within short lifetime. He's already 80 years old, within a short period of time. So can you imagine? So this is also a true story. So can you imagine, So this is what we can able to help our pets. In this fly's case, there's not even a motivation there. It's total kind of desireless attachment to the smell, which is motivation is actually delusional. There's no virtue at all. But the object, the stupa, has that power. Any stupa has that power. Just going one circumambulation. If you go around with the motivation, positive motivation, then unbelievable. But even with negative intention, that your physical body just happened to go around once, can create a cause to actualize the highest vow that Buddha, equal like what Buddha is preserving, the monastic vow, fully vow. On top of that, to become an arhat, which is meant to realize emptiness directly, which is require immense of merit and immense of purification. And we know, many of us, we practice for many years, emptiness is still very far, far away, not even looking eyesight to us, So, but then every single, virtue can contribute to reach to that goal, and in particularly, in relation to such powerful object like stupa. Because the stupa represents Buddha's omniscience. From the Buddha's holy body, speech and mind, stupa represents Buddha's heart. Every single, the design, the measurement, it has the characteristic, it has the meaning of Buddha's entire quality. So the stupas are not just simply can build. It has to go through a very, very extensive knowledge just to have the correct measurement, because there's a significance of defining Buddha's quality, Buddha's omniscient quality, so like that. So at home, in the garden, you can have a stupa, then have like a water, where birds can come and drink the water, and the birds are very busy looking like that. They happen to see the stupa. They purify the karma, accumulate merit. They happen to just fly around the stupa, they accumulate that much merit. Now for your pet, you can actually bring them around the stupa. You can just circumambulate. We also need to go for running, for exercise, chiro, what do you call it? Cardia, all the exercise. We put a lot of effort, run up the mountain, run at the beach there. How about at home, if you have garden? If not, in your living room. If not, in your room, in the center there, you have a stupa. Then, if you have pets, so you go around, you walk, nowadays there's thing to check, isn't it? You have the same count as if you go run outside. So now here there's so much merit, so much purification, So if you don't have pet, also for you can go around, is it? So like that. So again, good example, like Lama Subara was saying, is another very good example that if you go to any Rinpoche's house, in the residence, like in the monasteries or even in the West, you will see there's a stupa in his room, in his house, like in the living area, or even in his room, and in somewhere in the garden, and there's a practice that if you happen to stay at least one day, you will see, those dogs, asked to bring around the stupa, like that. And whenever even when on his traveling, even stay one night in a hotel, I remember that when I was attending, so we were traveling to Taiwan or somewhere, and we had to stop in Singapore or something like that. And we have just one night, and he asked to bring all. I mean, he usually carry a lot of relics, a lot of sculptures, a lot of stupas, and asked to arrange that stupa table in the middle of his room. So by the time we almost finishing arranging and making offering, it's time to pack because we need to leave the whole night. Asked to borrow the glass, like a wine glass and other glasses, whatever you can get, as much as possible from the hotel and make offering around the holy object. Of course, this to accumulate merit. But then if you happen to see one spider or one ant, immediately take onto the cloth, then go around. That's true. Which himself will go around, and sometimes ask us to go around, bring around, because there's so much merit, so easily can accumulate such a vast merit, which will cause us to cause this one's, innocent insect to actualize enlightenment like that, purify so much karma that they don't have to suffer anymore or reborn as an animal anymore like that. You see, so these are great examples. So. And especially for individual who don't travel much, and some more has garden, some more has a big living area, then I think, why not? Even like Lama Sogorinpoche, who don't have time at all, just 24, just one night also regarded as extremely important and so beneficial. I think for us, why not? Because you're staying in one station. And some more if you have a pet, then I think that will be a beautiful way to benefit, over health like that, and in the West nowadays, like especially in Australia, it's very easy to get stupa. In Chelsea they produce a lot of stupas, or even small one, never mind, stupa, then tags and holy objects, but stupa is one main one. Then the more the better, so you can create, like here, you get an example, there's one beautiful table, that's exactly how Lama Sogorinpoche would do in his house, build something like that, then in the center of the stupa, or then surrounded with, so many other holy objects, even many number printed medicine Buddha pictures, or medicine Buddha satsas, or Buddha satsas, and if you have relics, and just put there and let the animal to go around. You see, so we can help our animal like that. We can help our pets, so like that. Then, so then whenever you do your daily prayers, and try best to bring your pets along with you, to sit together, because when you do the chantings, when you do the meditation, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of blessings there, and if you chant loudly, then your pets can able to hear, and that can able to help them, greatly, like that. So, then if so beneficial to bring to places where they got a lot of holy objects, like even to Dharma center, just for them to see, all the altar, so many Buddhas, then like Chenrezig, got so many stupas, in the garden there's a big Buddha statues, so and here maybe there may be many other holy objects, I don't know. So if you can bring your pets to just go around, or at least for them to see like that, I think it is also advice from Lama Sogorinpoche. He says, if you want to teach the Dharma, you want to recite the mantra, from the dog side to accumulate, greater condition of even their physical body and their attentions are drawn towards that Dharma, then say, carry a biscuit or their food. So just show the food to them and they will focus like that. They're like, so sit like that, like receiving teaching like that. I think Guruji have said like that. And it's really practical, really good, So they sit there, so you chant the mantra. You can recite the sutras. You can give teachings like Shakyamuni Buddha's story. He gave teaching to 500 swan. What the teaching he gave is the teaching on the gradual path. Panchaparamita Sutra. You see, so whatever Langri understanding you may have, whatever emptiness understanding you may have, you start to recite it, like as if the disciple is right in front of you. So you teach, just show the food, then at the end, blessing, like that. So that's one thing. Even in the practice of sur, there's one section, saying giving Dharma to the spirits, So because I think whatever Dharma practice that we do, it's like not like kind of like because of I think this is better way, so that you can do like that. Well, this is my new idea. So in Dharma, it's so important to have illustrated by those realized beings. They have performed such deeds, and if we apply it, it will become the most effective. So that's why we try to have a quotation that which relate what you are talking about, or the deeds of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that which can relate to what you are doing. So that's why Buddha have give the teaching to the pigeons, and this is a reference that we too give the teaching to our pets. This Kimta Pelke, by going around the stupa, actualize such merit. We too, our pets, bring around the stupa, no doubt will accumulate the equal amount of merits like that, you see. So then another way, which is a regular way to benefit the animal is blessing their food and their water, their foods and their drink. So because oneself must be doing a lot of sadhana practices or mantra recitations, So even in a daily basis, you might be reciting maybe one mala or just one. So each time you get opportunity, you blow to the food, the dog's food. You blow to the water. You have jug of water that get ready. Then you bless, or maybe just like a bottle of water that all the time you bless. You put in the fridge. So whenever you give water to the animal, you pour a little bit from that blessed water. And also you can accumulate blessing water from practitioners, lamas, or also from holy places. Maybe to Australia to bring from overseas, maybe not easy as other country, but in Asia, especially in Tibet, Himalayas, Nepal, there's a great importance of collecting holy water, from holy places. It regarded that there's great energy there, So and collecting blessed water, during some of the ritual pujas, like in Nyungne. Like during Nyungne, if you perform Nyungne here, you should make more saffron water. When you consecrate, this thread, the 5-color thread, you also tie on the big bucket of saffron water out there, and of course your vase also contain that needed to be consecrated during Nyungne practice. So throughout the Nyungne, every people at the end get blow, at least in one bowl. Then after that water you transmit into that water, the big bucket of water. At the end of the day or after Nyungne, people can come and get bottle of water to add into your pet's water. You can also do that for your own family's cookings. So especially for the animal, this is very, very, very beneficial and it's so effective to do that. So that's why thinking of your pet, and we know how much you love your pet. So then in the name of your pet, whenever your mouth is free, recite the mantras. When you are around them, or when you are traveling, when you are away, when you are in office, whenever your mouth is free, you recite mantra, at least accumulate. When you go back home, then you're blessed, because your speech is so much accumulated, the energy of the mantra. So you bless their food. First, you will see the pet first, isn't it? They are the one who greet you first. First thing, poo, Om Mani Padme Hum, poo, like that. Then after you bless the food, you bless the water, and also like yourself being there, because you are like well consecrated, by those powerful mantras, all throughout the day, even for your family members, like you are just blessing them, without even telling them anything, you are just blessing them, So recitation of mantra, visualization of the deities or the Buddhas is like you are consecrating your own system, consecrating yourself, you see. So with that, can imagine you just spend time in the shopping center, people walk in and out, just the air touches you to them, just they accidentally looking at you, how much you can benefit them. So many ways to benefit others, So now we are talking about the pets, so don't just get distracted. Pets, not shopping malls. Yeah, so we can do that, and yeah. Yes. Then if in case pets like unwell, like that, then again, as mentioned before, beside the medicines and taking to the vet, spiritually, for their consciousness, you can help through your practice, at least by reciting medicine Buddhist mantra, that can heal them, and this suffering of ignorance like that. We are up to what time? 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I 8:30, and then maybe if there's any questions.
Okay. Yeah, so then, yes, then because I think many, especially dogs, I think they have this skin problem, maybe not here, but in Nepal, India, you see a lot of like that. So you accumulate, medicine Buddha is a healing Buddha. So you accumulate a lot of mantra. Then when you get this medicine from the doctor, then you blow to the medicine what apply to their wounds. You can also bless to of course, the food or medicine that they consume. So this is how even for us, for human, we do like that. This is a great belief in Himalayas, in Tibet. Even though they get the medicine from doctor, they will put a lot of effort to go and get blessing of the mantra from the practitioners and the masters. And people get a lot of benefit there, and particularly, the root cause of pain and suffering is because of karma, negative karma. Even though the wound may be able to heal by the medicine, but if the karma is not purified, the root is not purified, just a matter of time. It may come in other different manifestations of problem. So in that understanding, then with the conventional help, then also try to get a spiritual kind of benefit together. So, and this is exactly what we can apply that to help our pets, like that. So then, if in case if pets they die, then if you have relics of the realized beings, then you can put the relics on their tongue, on the mouth. Not necessarily have to swallow, but you can just put in the mouth. But that's very rare to have such opportunity. But if you have, then send mandalas. any Zen mandala. Because all the Zen mandala, when after creation, before creation, you have to do these all the sadhana practices, ritual practices. Then after the creation, you need to consecrate it. So it becomes a celestial mention of the deity. So the Zen mandala has a great power or benefit, to protect us just by keeping it, and especially for someone who is passing away, like animals or humans, same thing. If it's convenient, then mix the Zen mandala mix with a little bit of butter, then you just stick onto the forehead. So for human, easy to find, but for also not for a crown. On the crown where the curly hair is, there's a hole, which link to the central channel, so the consciousness to transfer in a upper energy, so that any virtues you perform, it can able to be a basis where the consciousness can able to reborn in the Pure Land or higher rebirths of Pure Land for that benefit. So you place that mixed Zen mandala butter just place on the crown. And also when the pets die, the first thing, instead of touching here and there, when you know that it's dead, then first thing you touch on the crown, like that. So if you don't have this, if you cannot mix with the butter, never mind. Just put the Zen mandala powder onto the crown, like that. Or you can also spread around the body, whole around the body. Then you can also wear it like that also. Okay. If you don't have Zen mandala, then if you have any holy object, statues, stupas, sculptures, you can place onto it. Even like blessing strings, even the malas, which you recite out of mantra, you can touch on the crown like that. And if in case you don't have anything, then first thing, then you can use your hand. If you know how to chant mantra, you chant mantra, then you blow to your hand, then after that you place onto the crown. This you can do to human also, when the human passing away, and you can do to the pets and the animals also like that. So then, there are mantras, powerful mantras, and mainly Namgyalma, the one of the deity called Namgyalma, or stainless beam mantra. So that you can, again, in the FPMD website, you can get that, even with the instruction, you can get that easily. So you can print it, then, if possible, you can place whole body, whole body. If not, at least, place on the crown, place on somewhere at the throat, and place on somewhere at the chest, like that. If that also inconvenient, then at least place on the crown, or on the chest, somewhere like even the dog, around the stomach, up there, somewhere there, like that, in between the two arms. So then, then on top of that, if you have Zen mandala, then you spread the Zen mandala on the body. Then on top of that, if you have any other blessing pills like money pills, nectar pills, those contain a lot of accumulation of mantra. Each creation of money pills, you need to recite, I think, 100 millions of Om Mani Padme Hum, like that. I think, So I think minimum million. I think million. No, money total. Maybe 100 million. I think 100 million. So either you can crush that pill and put it in the water, and then water sprinkle around the body, or if you have a lot, then you can just throw some on the body. Then of course, on the clean cloth, you can use 5-color cloth. It has a great significant significance of using 5-color cloth. If not, then at least any color, but something clean, the red, and you bury it. So again, in the where you want to bury it, there you can throw sand mandala. If you have sand mandala, you can throw sand mandala. If you don't have, then some blessing pills, but then you just put them in cover like that. If it's cremating, in some cases in Himalayas in Tibet, they cremate even in the pads. They cremate, and they cremate. One of the main reasons they cremate is they want to make from the ashes. They want to make tsatsa. They want to make an image of the deity. In particularly like mitupa, or they make also stupas. They make vajrasattva's. Mainly they make mitupa, purification deities, tsatsa, the image, and at least they will build like a stone stupa, simple stupa, and contain all those tsatsas. Then if they make that within their garden, then they create an opportunity to make a lot of offerings all the time, right? In the name of the pet, you make a lot of offerings. Eventually you may forget about the pet, but because of stupa, you continue to make offerings. That's how you can benefit so much continuously, to the pet. Like that, and that those very virtuous deeds will cause them to actualize enlightenment, purify their karma, like that. Then there's one practice called Dharma, purification practice. It goes similar to human as well as for any being when they pass away. If you are cremating, then while cremating you can do Dharma practice. Dharma literally meaning purification practice, but it contains quite extensive practices and meditations and prayers, which is very much involved for purifying the karma. At the same time, showing the direction through the bardo, through the inhibited state, and to the next life, or through the practice, showing the disease pet's consciousness to next life, to the higher rebirth, or to the pure land, like that. So Dhamma is one of very common and one very powerful practice. Also, if you perform Dhamma, it also help the diseased person or diseased animals consciousness not to be born as a wandering spirit, because if the dying person or the animal attached to something, attached to the owner or attached to your possessions or whatever, then that will cause that attachment create a conditional cause to be born as a wandering spirit, either reborn as a preta. Then within preta there's one type of preta as a wandering spirit, or even before taking the rebirth within the sixth realm, they become there's one particular spirit called wandering spirit. They return their consciousness, their spirit return back to wherever they're attached to. Could be their home, could be their possessions or whatever. And that is regarded immense of suffering. Even it is regarded very negative to reborn like that. And also if it's to do with attachment or aversion, then those spirits actually can cause a lot of harm to the families, or because the spirit don't understand actually the love that they express, the attachment they express to their loved one, which they can't let go, actually taking their life or causing their life or causing obstacles in their life. But spirit don't understand that. The spirit is just like I can't separate, I can't detach, like that, So in order not to happen that, and also through attachment, through aversion, create a very powerful concluding karma, completing karma, because the aversion and attachment arises at the time of the last moment of dying. And that last moment of dying, the mind, if it's attachment or aversion, that arising thought become a concluding karma to the past negative karma. So the past negative karma will complete by that negative thought to have a complete karma to be born into the body form, like animal realm or Harigo's realm or God realm, like that. And it defined by how intense those negative emotions are, and how intense negative karmas that you have imprint from the past. So these two factors come together, then this can be great disaster of suffering. So performing Dharma practice is one of a very powerful method for that. So Dharma practice mostly performed through medicine Buddha practice. So medicine Buddha Dharma, medicine Buddha Dharma. It would take about 1-2 hours of practice. So like that. So and if you don't have those facilities, then you can recite Medicine Buddha Sutra. Also play the role. If you recite Medicine Buddha Sutra, or if not, then at least Medicine Buddha Mantra, it also helps. So I think Medicine Buddha Mantra everybody knows. So if something goes wrong, just recite Medicine Buddha Mantra. It helps them to protect that. Especially at the time they are stopping the breath, about to stop the breath, like from clinical death to when about to experience the clinical death. That's another crucial time. Then when you do the cremation, another crucial time. Then after the cremation, within 49 days, the third crucial time, or fourth crucial time. The most crucial time is when they are alive. If that didn't work, then at least at the time of death. If that didn't work, when they didn't stay 49 days. If that didn't work, then when then so like that. So yes. There's also if someone who in the family who know how to who been practicing like Hasui tantric practices like deity yoga, like Guya Samaja, then reciting Guya Samaja tantric root text also regarded a very powerful practice. Very powerful practice. Then other than that, the king of the prayer is regarded one of very effective practice. And those are sutras that you can find when it's so easily you can get and you can recite that. Then if you can do more, then there's 8 great prayers. Malam Namge, 8 great prayers. So you can recite those in the name of the disease. And if you cannot do that, then you can also request someone to help to recite those practices or do those practices, including Dhamma, medicine Buddha, purification practice. You can request someone to do. Best is larger the Sangha community. If they can do, that would be great. If not, at least someone that who who know the practice. So this is something that we can help to, in case we have your loved one, your pets, if dies, then these are the things that is so beneficial to do. And especially try to do as much as as possible within the 49 days. From the dying time onward, within the 49 days, because within the 49 days, whether animal or whether human being, there's a seven times of dying that may occur. So each time they experience the natural clear light, and whenever there's prayers and virtues are happening in their name, it greatly influence. Especially that's why every 7 day, each 7 day, do major practices if someone passes away. There's a reason. because their death, each death comes each 7 days. So that count 49 days, like that. Yeah, and also can perform fire pujas, Vajradhaka fire puja, which is sadhana is very simple, very short, and also the ingredients just need a black sesame seed, and you can do that for your pets, those disease one, even for humans to purify their karma, and also to protect from hindrances, particularly spirits, like that. Then, if you can do more than that, then do major fire pujas, like pacifying fire pujas through some deities, like Yamantaka or high school 100 deities. It is quite a massive preparation is needed, massive puja, and someone need to know how to do that. A lot of prerequisites. But then, if you wish to, it is regarded very, very beneficial. In particularly the diseased person or even a diseased animal, during their lifetime, they're very angry. They're always very negative. You hardly know that their life been so miserable and so negative, and there's a danger of, having the similar kind of ripening or imprint at the time of clinical death, so that they may complete their karma to be born in heavy low reliance. So in order to protect, being born as a spirit, wandering spirit like that, then performing pacifying fire puja regarded as very, very powerful. So you can request, you can send a name to like tantric colleges, or most monastery have at least few monks who know how to do this. So you can order them to do it in the name. Then Dharma. So when you do the great fire puja, the Dharma also include, the purification practice also include, like that. So that's one thing. Then if in case, if you're sure that, that pets or that diseased person born as a spirit, that they are wandering around, and you also can see, you also can feel, then in order to liberate them, if it's just a normal spirit, then like a pacifying fire puja is okay. If it's a very serious one, very wrathful one, then we even need to perform wrathful fire puja. That's one, that immense of preparation, and you need, not everybody can do that. So hope it will never happen to anybody like that. But if in case, in such cases, then there's also a method to help them. Okay, I think I stop here. Okay, so any questions?
Let me just get you.
Oh yes, I have a blessing string here for pets, not for you. So later, those who have pets, please come and take. If you have many pets, you can take as many as possible. It's okay. So this is His Holiness Dalai Lama himself, bless, make prayer. This was since last year. And like Geshe Lama Sogorubache and Geshe Tenzin Zopa, and that's one. It's actually my auntie who have done over 2,000 sets of Nyungne, who have done 11 years of Vajrayogini Great Retreat. All the major 12 mondos are complete. Even today, she's quite old, but still every day, do submission. So, give quite an amount of time for her to bless. So if you can put around the neck of the pets, if it's too long, you can do double, but double may be dangerous sometimes, So main thing is the central note. That's the mantra. That's the blessing. So the rest you can cut. So it depends on the size of the animal. Then if your animal is donkey or cow, and then you can join few and make long. Like also can do like that. Okay. So later you can come and take. Yes.
Geshe-la, my experience with Jamwa is that we have taken ashes to Geshe-la at Chenrezig to do Jamwa. So does it need to be a Lama or Geshe to do Jangwa?
No need. Yeah.
Okay.
No need. As long as you know the practice, the best is if you have medicine Buddha, Jangwa, if you have medicine Buddha initiation, medicine Buddha practice, that would be even better. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, Geshe-la. So I'm actually quite scared around insects, but I really want to be compassionate towards them. So how can I convert this fear into something useful?
Something useful. Scared and want to be compassionate. If it's danger animals, poison animals, then of course, you have to be practical, you have to be cautious, and stay away from them. But you can still practice compassion and offer them benefit, like through your attitude. Just may they be free from samsara, and really see their rebirth is in the animal realm. It's already samsaric realm. On top of that, and being animal, as we talked about before, they have this, suffering of ignorance, like human beings suffering of, losing what we like, and not getting what we do not like. Did I say correctly? Something like that. There are a few others, but they but animal maybe they don't really experience that much, but like ignorant. So anyway, so understanding that, and you just wish them freedom from that, or recite mantra from far, like that. Yes.
Geshe-la, my daughter has a new kitten, and he likes sitting on my Dharma books. He likes sitting on my Dharma books.
Oh, I see.
And she told me today that he was sitting on the picture of my Lama, and he just stayed there. Yeah, so I know he doesn't know.
Yeah, I think it's for animals. I think it's okay. I think for animal, I don't have a kind of to refer to, to what is right, what is wrong in the teaching. But for animal, they don't have a sense of intelligence to understand that, and maybe I can say it is okay for animal, because before this fly, with such a negative intention, attachment to the cow dung, and just to be around there, benefited, and just able to attach their body to a holy object like a sutra or the mantra or Buddha's image. That itself, I think, they really purify them so much. So I think for animal, of course, if from your side, if you're around, if you can able to put the holy object higher, we can do something better. If he's always stepping on the object, then maybe we should put as high as possible. As high as possible, and where the pets cannot reach there. And once in a while you bring the text to pat on the head. It will be so wonderful, So that's a solution, but unintentionally, or there's no other way to put the book somewhere, and that's the only place, and the animal goes on to that. So I don't think there's a negative karma there. That's my thinking. I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah, I've got two things. I've got a younger dog called Tashi. She likes stealing things off my altar. Is she creating the causes for a bad rebirth?
I think maybe because for us we label as stealing. Maybe it may not be stealing for
Well, she just takes it and I can't find it for a few days, and then I find it in obscure spots.
I see. So it takes and eats or what?
No, she doesn't eat. Well, she has eaten one.
It just takes.
She just takes it and
I
takes
see.
it and puts it somewhere, and I'll be cleaning. I'll
Maybe
find it.
must be with the was it just playing with you? Playing.
I don't know, but
It's okay.
I move the altar around, but she still gets on it.
So maybe from today onward, maybe don't say stealing.
Okay.
Maybe level something nice.
Also, we say a lot of mantras in our house, and we've got these little lizards called geckos.
Okay.
Would they be getting blessings
Oh yes.
from those mantras?
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, yes.
Oh,
Any
Any.
form being, formless being. As long as we recite mantras, so many people always get benefited. So many beings get benefited. Yeah. So no stealing.
Okay.
You can give a very sweet, nice, virtuous name.
Okay.
Something, maybe just taking his share of blessing from Buddha. You just say Om Ahom, I say, well, rejoice, wow, you get the blessing before than me.
She drinks the water too out of my bowls.
Oh, okay. I think it's okay.
She's
Other
got it.
animals, I think, okay. But then again, on the water bowl, if the flies, they drown. So then that also has to be mindful. If the big animal just drink, I think okay. But the flies. But then for a spirit, there are some spirit that which instead of getting benefited, they actually get obscured by consuming offerings. So that's why each time when we make offering, we say Om Ahom. But that's not for the animal. It's for some specific spirits. And when you do that, because of you understand that you do the Om Ahom blessing, from that making offering, these spirits, these predators get benefit as a blessing. But if they consume, they obscure. So like that. So not everything is also okay. So there's some not okay. Then like a butter lamp, like candle, some insect they just attract to that, and we have to be very mindful. Even though it's offering and this and that in front of the Buddha, but that's not right place for the flies to attract. They will get burned. So we need to. So I think human being, we have to play a lot. We need to have a lot of mindfulness. Everything in the concern of everybody's benefit, then we just do our best and just rejoice after that. I think. Yeah.
Geshe, I have two situations I'd like your advice on, please. The first situation was where I witnessed a lizard being attacked by ants, and it was clear that the lizard was suffering and was going to die. I took the position of seeing that and feeling compassion for that being, and I decided to take on the karma to conclude that lizard's life, as opposed to seeing him suffer. Is that the right decision to make? Should I have allowed the karma of that being to suffer being killed to death by those ants?
No. I think you should, because of causing life of one another animal, so these ants accumulate so much negative karma. So even they are almost causing life, almost the lizard dying, still good to separate them. Good to it still save a lot of karma to the ants. Before causing the life directly in the right then action, you at least able to separate. So how to say? Still better. So you have to concern for the both. Then after that, the lizard is still alive or dead, then you try to bring it home, or you try to at least recite mantras and bring around the stupa. Even if it's dead also, you just bring around the stupa reciting mantra, it benefits.
And would that be the same also too if you do come across an animal, an insect who is dying? And that brings to my second situation that I'd like your advice on. And I guess a lot of us have our pets. And my particular dog suffered for 2 years, very much. And I did the best that I could. And towards the end of his time, he became very, very sick. And I got very overwhelmed, and I received a lot of different advice from people, some good, some not so helpful. And the dilemma I was left with is a bit the same as the insects and the lizard, is that if our animal is dying and we were given the choice to make a decision to put the animal to sleep, where the vets inject euthanize the animal. Or I also was advised that you could slowly kill the animal through medication so that the animal dies on its own time. So that it dies and it's not, I'm not making the decision to euthanize the animal.
So,
And that I suffered a lot after that, and I found that Buddhists and non-Buddhists were also not very kind because I made the decision to euthanize my animal.
So from Buddha Dharma, the answer to that is we cannot be the cause for their life. Directly making decision for euthanasia. You know, even in the concern of they are in so much in pain. You know, you cannot make a decision to, you know, like if you could put them into sleep. Dharma can advise that, because what we see, the suffering, you know, the obvious suffering they're going through, the conventional suffering, and the karma that one contributes, not just in the concern of yourself, but in relation to that particular animal or person, you know, the consequences is very heavy. So because of that, you know, concern of prevent greater suffering. The suffering is much more greater than what you are seeing in front of your eye. If cause of untimely death because of your action, because of your decision or whatever. So due to that reason, in concern of that, then in Buddhist teaching, you know, you don't suggest to put them to sleep. Rather, let them go through the natural death.
But how is that then different from the first situation?
First situation, you say bring back home means what? I thought you bring to your home. Is that saying?
No, she killed him.
Kill.
No, she killed him.
Kill. Oh.
No, the difference is making the decision to end the suffering of the lizard.
I misunderstood that. I misunderstood the question. I thought that you just like separate from the end, and you still, the lizard is still, you know, like struggling life and bring home and help.
No.
Not like that.
No.
You kill that lizard. And so no, cannot. So sorry, I misunderstood.
So that's the thing, is of making that it's not advised to make that decision to stop the suffering of another being by taking on the karma of that animal. What you're saying is that you are to allow, if an animal is dying, that you allow it to die.
Okay.
Sorry, but this is a lot of the things that our students really struggle with our animals.
So you have to weigh. You know, you have to weigh from the karmic perspective. The karma that one commit, you know, causing life of, let's say, like that lizard, between two of you, the consequences that lizard have to experience, that you have to experience, that is a heavier, or just separate from the end and still live lizard, half live lizard like that. You bring to your care until to the last moment of the death. So you have to weigh which one it will be heavier. So you have to distribute. So in that action, surely there's some, not completely everything is right and everything is wrong. You see, like Bodhisattva, one Bodhisattva has to kill one nasty man in order to save 500 messengers. So saving 500 life and causing one life, from the karmic point of view, the saving 500 life is far more greater karma. In concern of that victim of the Bodhisattva caused the life. Because if the Bodhisattva know that this one man going to cause 500 life, and the consequences of that karma is extremely heavy, 500 life. So Bodhisattva himself, taking the life of that one nasty man, the karma that they collectively accumulate, that nasty man also have to experience, but far more lesser than causing a 500 life. You see, so sometimes we concern of our own karma, what I will get. So, but here in Bodhisattva's contact is what the victim going to experience. We have to think from that point of view. So, in that sense, yeah.
Thanks very much, Geshe-la, for a nice talk. My question is about mantras for reciting to pets. One dog's deaf, so you mentioned you could just blow in their ear. So you recite the mantra and then blow.
Yeah, but you can also, just reciting loudly, if they have the capability to hear, it also already benefits. Yeah. But on top of that, you can also blow. Okay. Because your breath, your speech is the carry the frequency, the blessing of the mantra. So when you blow, it reaches to the body of the animal.
Mm. But if they're deaf, there's no point or anything like that.
No, after that also, because the aggregate is still there's a relation to that being.
But the dog's deaf; it can't actually hear.
Oh, I mean deaf. Was it? I know. It seems like now I'm getting deaf. Since yesterday, I'm experiencing deaf. Okay. Maybe not necessarily have to recite loud if you really don't have the capability to hear. But recitation itself has the benefit, so it still should recite. So not necessarily has to have the hearing capability, So the blowing has a different benefit after the mantra, or just reciting has a different benefit. Motivation has different benefits. So all has its own benefits.
So at the time of the dying.
At the time of dying.
Say doing medicine with the mantras, you could still benefit to the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, quickly, the blessing calls are not just for the time of death; they can be more put on.
No, actually, when now,
yeah.
You can have, like how we human, we went like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. Oh, here also. Here, okay. Sorry.
I had a question. So we were watching a documentary a while ago on animals, and it was just interesting to see how animals behave. And there was a whale in the ocean, and in one mouthful, the whale was eating so many fishes, little fishes, like thousands.
Yeah.
And you mentioned also like how specific to animals they have this kind of specific suffering of dullness and ignorance. So how do animals actually are able to create the causes to go into higher rebirths into human? It seems impossible to, when you're looking at it, it seems very difficult. So
I think
how do they actually do that?
So all the practices we were discussing in relation to animals, I think those are the conditional causes will eventually let them liberate, because they already have the seed. So you just need to water them with virtues. They don't have the capability, but others can able to create, assist them, cause them. You see, the seed is Buddha nature. How evil sentient being may be, all has Buddha nature. So that's the seed. So you just need to nurture that. So by at least dedicating, all the practice we've been discussing, you can dedicate even to that well. Yeah. So there will be end to samsara, to anything.
In my garden, I have a compost bin where I make the earth for the garden, and in it have moved in several hundred cockroaches, which is fine, that's where they want to live. How can I benefit them? I bless the scraps that I put in there, and is there anything else I could do for them? I don't think it's respectful to put a little stooper in there for them to run around. It's pretty yucky. Is there anything else you could do?
Yeah, you can, and if they are okay to be a bit moisture, then you recite the mantra on the water and always sprinkle the water. And also anything there, you just recite and you can blow, so it's a compost area. So whenever you gather all those things, you just bless with the mantra and do that like that. Yeah.
Last, quick.
So my cat has a bad habit of chasing and eating moths in our house.
Eating what?
Moths.
Okay.
So what should I do to sort of help the moths and stop him?
So you cannot chase away the cats away. So if you can just let the moths to go somewhere else, safer place, then you can try that.
Yeah.
And if you can prevent in any way, you try your best. I think that much you can do. Sometimes the collective karma is so strong, they just comes into causing harm to each other like that. But so you just try your best, try your best to send the moths in the safe places, just go outside the window like that. And of course, you can recite a mantra, you can, do prayers, and all this will be blessed, including the moths like that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Geshe-la, thank you so much for an amazing talk. And so the centre cat, Bekensei, Mr. Bekensei, the first thing he did when Geshe-la arrived was go and sleep on Geshe-la's seat out on the porch. So he knows. Also, this Sunday we have the burning puja, which is the Vajradhaka fire puja, the really simple one that Geshe-la just mentioned. So that's this Sunday if you want to come and do some purification for your pets. And with the blessing strings for putting them around the necks of the cats and dogs, you can actually attach them with just a little bit of elastic, so then they're not going to accidentally choke themselves on it, but it will still stay around their neck.
Yeah.
So
just save this one, all this, just cut all the way to, make sure you are not choke or whatever. Yeah. And also one thing, because you say Bekanze, there's one thing, if you can able to name some virtuous name, like deities' names or like bodhicitta or emptiness, like emptiness, or name of arhats, name of pure lands to your animal, then whenever you call them that, leave the imprint, create so much causes, like Bekanze is very nice. And there's one just in the Tasmania, there's one little dog called Money. But each time like, money, then she's very happy, money, oh money, oh money. So she can recite a mantra. So it's a very skillful way. If you can name some Dharma names, would be good. Thank you. Yeah. So, any cats come.
Animals.
And you just ask me how many you need, okay? How you going to the guinea pig? Yeah. You just otherwise you just hang somewhere, in India when they go around. So yeah, because sometimes they may stranded or whatever, How many? One. How about the moths?
500 for the moths in my house.
Oh, that's nice. Tenzin Castle.
So I only thought there was no one. You've only just got along, haven't you?
One place.
I was thinking why you're not getting on. I only said I've got one, I've got another one.
Never sleeps in that chair. I guess this is like behind the best chair in the house. When they're in the house. It's good to be like this chair.
Hi.
And they use that one. They do not come here. The cashews will walk over there. She says, well, I think they're Jack Ross and Ross Parks. So the gender is more to the judge. So yeah.
Yes.
Well, we got
This one is there. Because they do move.
and you already ran and you see her in the
Patience.
and Noel wanted it. He wants it.
One.
Jen will be 6 in July and Tasha will be 4 in August.
Good. 3 please. Thank you. Good night.